For that conversation, I'm going to invite Patty Washington, the Female of Change Ambassador in Virginia, with her guests and talking about riding the wave of love to empowerment and joy. Over to you, Patty.
Hello, female wave of change. And we would like to say welcome for Virginia. Let's hear it.
Wow. Hello.
And we are going to bring in, we have two fabulous speakers for you. We have the tenacious, wonderful Dr. Yemaja Jubilee, who is the soul poet. She is going to read one of her empowering poems for us. And we have the fabulous JJ Skyler, who is going to do a little workshop on joy. So get ready. Here we go. And Yemaja, take it over.
Yeah. Breathe in and breathe out. And we are now riding the wave of change, and we know how to behave. This poem is called From an Empowered Place. No need to crawl, walk, or march to the rhythm of your drum, because baby, I got what it takes. I'm dancing, I'm skipping merrily and cheerfully in the flow of spirit under God's grace. No longer am I shy and unassuming and docile, or keeping silent as I live a ho-hum life. Bored, stuck, rigidity, or covered by my own shit. Blaming you for dumping your shit on me and creating my misery. I got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. I got a fire in my belly, I gotta tell it. I'm living from an empowered place. No longer do I lie, deceive, cheat, or undermine, or manipulate those who I perceive in my mind that are less than me because of a caste system that was set up to annihilate me and keep us all in our place so that we could feel superior because of the color of my skin and not a member of the human race. No longer do I listen to the news, honey. It just creates misery, and all they're doing is dispensing negativity and all that other stuff that change our living and change our thinking. I got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. I got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. I'm living from an empowered place. No longer do I listen to he say, she say, or they say, or those who pass along gossip and criticize to defame, destroy, or defeat others and put them down. Gotta watch them, because what they say about them, they will surely reap. And what they say is really a reflection of how they see themselves that comes out of their mouths as they speak. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. No longer am I bound to being the best fucking town, because I had to sleep around to push down all the pain of not loving myself. And I just settle for crumbs from any man's table. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. I'm living from an empowered place. No longer must I marry Tom, Dick, or Harry to give me a name or to fix me either. And I don't have to change them either. And I go into this knowing that they are emotionally unavailable, or neediness is their only claim to fame. And guess what? I become insane. No longer do I choose to suffer, to be a martyr or a poster child for not enoughness, unworthiness, spinelessness, purposelessness, with a fragile ego who sells their soul to the highest bidder for a millimeter second of validation to cause my existence. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. No longer will I be held back and bound by generational shame, anger, rage, drug and drinking, eating, workaholism, religiosity, and money to cover up and be embedded by all that generational pain and truckloads of shame, Got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it. No longer, no longer, no longer. I have a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it.
I got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell it.
I am brilliant, bodacious, beautiful, spiritual, sassy, sexy, soulful. I'm a badass. Boy, oh boy, I just said a mouthful. No need to be doubtful, because I'm a bold, badass soul. I now realize that I am the gift. I am the gift that I bring to the world. And I wield my power and my uniqueness on purpose, on God's divine plan as I continue to unfold. I now live from an empowered place. Now run tell that, because I got a fire in my belly and I got to tell it.
I got a fire in my belly and I gotta tell
Now you just been told.
it.
JJ.
Yeah.
Are y'all awake? If you weren't before, you are now. Hi, I'm JJ Skyler. Thank y'all for being with us this morning. Hello out there to the female wave of changers, and I am so honored to be here to help everyone reignite some joy in this time. So the first thing I thought when people said, "Oh, you want to come and talk about reigniting joy?" I said, "Yes, that sounds like something we really need right now."
Yes.
Right? And then I thought, what the heck am I going to do to help people all over the world reignite that spark? So I thought I'll make it interactive, right? We'll honor the underbelly of joy, come through that in our bodies, and then radiate our authenticity and our groundedness and ourselves. So in the little bit of time that we have this morning, and thank you all for being the interactive part that I can see, we're gonna come through that. So I thought about the word reignite, right? Reignite implies we're building a fire, right? We're starting something that has stopped burning, right? So how do we do that? I mean, the one thing that the pandemic has given us is this heightened awareness, right? This forced stillness that maybe some of us weren't used to having. So now we know that our external sources of joy that we've been looking to for all of this time along our journey, first of all, those are blessings, right? That maybe we took for granted over a year ago. But they're also not the only source of our joy. And so in that stillness, we often are starting to feel that sense of lack or not enough, or what's missing in my life. Why am I not feeling as joyful as I did? So my job in Joy Epidemic creating is to help people get underneath that and clear what's blocking you, right? What's blocking me from time to time. So we're going to learn how to recreate and reignite our own fires today. To do that means that everybody here has to get a little real with themselves, right? So the fire is the center of ceremony in cultures, right? And there's a reason for that, because there's a huge amount of power in fire. So who here believes that you have at least a spark of it inside of you? Yeah, and some of us are like all day, every day over here, right? Well, for those of us who might feel that there's a little diminishing going on for people over this period of time, how do we relight that spark? So I'm going to ask everybody to take a few minutes with me and go inward. Feel whatever part of your body is connected to the earth or the ground right now. Close your eyes. Feel into your feet or your chair. And really focus your attention into that space, that point of contact. And breathe in from the belly. Remember what Yemaja said, There's a fire in our belly. Breathe space and energy and light into that. And even if it's the tiniest little spark that you can feel, I want you to gather some energy from the earth. So stretch your hands out in front of you, scooping down. If you can touch the ground, touch the ground. Breathe in, pull that energy up through the feet, up through the legs, up through the belly, up through the chest and the heart, up through the throat, up through the head, up above the head. Extend your hands way up and reach. And exhale and part that space for yourself in the sky. And let's do that again. Let's reach down into the earth. Pull up that grounding, nurturing energy up through the legs, up through the body, out the top of the head. Reach and stretch and make space. Let oxygen come in to feed that spark. Because what does fire need? Air, right? It needs air. We need air to breathe that, to amplify that, to radiate that, right? A lot of times, quantum physics, spiritual teachers, they stress the power of our ability to create and manifest, right? How many people have heard the word manifest? I want to manifest this. I want to manifest that, right? It's this idea that we have that we can bring all these wonderful things into our life. And sometimes that's a little challenging, right? Because we have it really clear in our mind, but it's not showing up when we want, right? Or how we want. And so then that sometimes will make our fire diminish a little bit. And we might even, I will claim this, I've done this before. I feel like I'm a little bit of a 2-year-old and I throw a temper tantrum and I'm like, but that isn't what I wanted. Right? So I am here to share with you though, that when we step into that space of full creation, co-creators with that higher divine self, what shows up is exactly what we need. And we created that, like it or not. We are responsible for what shows up with our spark inside of us, right? And when it does arrive, we know. And even the stuff that looks messy, we know. Right? Right? So being able to come into a space of radiating our own joy is also about being okay with that mess. Right? And, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I have been in this, in my life trajectory, some of this perfectly imperfect phrasing that you all hear me say a lot is because I'm a recovering perfectionist. I used to have to think everything had to be just like this, right? And boy, did I flip out if it wasn't. You know, yeah, I got a lot of head nods in the room, just so you people out there know there's a lot of that here. But whenever we step into that perfectly imperfect space within ourselves, and we then use that point from which to manifest our future, it's feeling into who we are in our totality, right? So sometimes it's a struggle. Sometimes it is a struggle. It feels struggle. And then who likes the word struggle? Nobody, right? Nobody likes the word struggle, let alone the feeling of struggle. But that's where, again, it's about grounding and centering into who we are and honoring all of that, the best parts and the worst parts, without so much freaking judgment, right? Right. So what prevents your spark? What's in your, and I'm not asking for public answers. I'm just saying, take a reflective pause with me. And let's sink into that a little bit more, right? So what is preventing your spark? And we'll use the analogy of the fire, right? So is it that you've got damp twigs and branches you're trying to build your fire with? Is it that you are parked in like some sort of sludge, trying to build something? Think about that. Take flint, right? The old fashioned way, take flint, rub it together. I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna pretend I do.
Girl Scouts anyone?
Girl Scouts, anyone, right? And then you get that spark, right? But the conditions have to be just so to get even just the littlest, tiniest spark. Now, the cool thing about that is it's all it takes to create a really big, powerful fire is what?
Smart.
Just one little tiny spark. So rather than sometimes, I don't know about you all, but sometimes I think, oh, I'm building a fire and I get this vision, it's got to be this great big bonfire. And that gets overwhelming just to even think about creating, right? But if I think about, oh, if I had a match, or if I had a friend that could give me a few leaves, or if I had another friend that could make sure I have dry ground to stand on, then this becomes a lot easier. All right, so let's take a moment and go inward. If you would please close your eyes again. We're going to go inward just for a few minutes. Try to paint that visual. What comes to mind for you? What's preventing your spark, and owning that and being okay with that and coming into knowing about that without judgment, but with curiosity, right? So visualize your own little tiny spark that you're about to light. And then feel into that. Is there something in your life right now, or in your thought patterns right now, some way you feel about yourself right now that is damp, that is sludge, that is the opposite of light? And now, as you keep breathing into that, is there a part of your body that feels that way? That tightness, that tension, that resistance, holding back something, not releasing something. The opposite of fullness. If you detect that in your body, breathe in warm, healing energy. Just visualize this nice, beautiful golden ball of light hitting that spot, filling it up, and then radiating through your heart center, expanding from your chest. Dissolving that tension, that tightness. Loving on that tension and that tightness. Giving ourselves permission to be okay wherever we are. Right here, right now. And then visualize that spark, really sharp. And know that that's your energy. That's your center of what you can create in your life. No matter what you are not able to do, wherever you're not able to go, however you feel like you can't be right now because of the pandemic, you still have that little spark always within inside of you, right? And nobody can take that. No situation, no relationship or lack. It's always right there. Breathe one more nice deep breath. Feel that radiance within you and open your eyes. these same spiritual teachers and quantum physicists, they'll tell you when you really want to manifest something is to come into a future state of being. Like picture that version of yourself, right? In as much detail as you can. So now that we did the little clearing and acknowledging of all the stuff that might be lingering in us, I thought it might be fun for us to just really quickly take 30 seconds, paint your inner picture, right? Wherever you are right now, and wherever you want to be, how you want to show up in your life, right? Some of you who are in the room, you took a pledge this morning, right? What did you pledge to do?
Be joyful.
Show up for your joy, right? So visualize that version of you right now in your mind. Are you on a beach? Are you surrounded with friends and lots of money and lots of great food and lots of laughter? What is it for you? No wrong answer, right? No wrong answer. So I'm just going to add a little layer of an image that I want you all to co-create with me now. Whatever that picture was for you, I want you to imagine all the people that you love the most coming around this big fire with you. Remember, I talked about fire and the power of ceremony. So now we're going to invoke that in real life here, and we're inviting you all to do that too. And I have a good friend here today who's going to come and help me create this sense of dancing around our fire in co-creation. And anybody that wants to get up out of their chair, get up out of their chair. So that's you all here and anybody out there. Going to get some music going. And we are going to celebrate the sparks that we are. This is my good friend Alexa.
Hello.
And we are going to go ahead and dance our way out of this thing.
Yeah, so just like you were talking about moving from the inside out and talking about the spark within, this is a lot of what we're doing. We're going to dance, we're going to move from the inside out. So I want you to focus on your feet, feel your feet, and feel your heart all at the same time.
All at the same time, people. If you've got music at home, crank it up. We got like that dancing.
Yeah.
Come on.
Shake all your
And thank you.
Let off all that old.
Thank you from Virginia.
What are we doing?
Okay.
What are we doing? We're shaking out what?
We're shaking out all the old stuff that
All the old.
All right.
We're shaking out all the complex, all the guts, all gone.
All gone.
Whatever you see in your heart that you're going to be.
All right, thank you from Virginia. We will see you soon. Bye.